here's the idea. I talk about creating stuff and what's right to do, but I've been doing less of just creating, and I see a lot of different YouTube channels where they talk about art, but I never actually see them do art. So I want to make something. I know the sound quality won't be as good because it will pick up all the different noises that I'm doing. But that's okay. I wanted to do another live drawing. I never know where these things will go. And I'm kind of just doing this more in my sketch process, which is kind of just make some abstract shapes using usually 1 to 2 brushes to just lay down my kind of my base. Kind of doing like a just like slightly colorful gray wash. I know that sounds odd, but kind of like a mix of different colors, but in a desaturated, a very desaturated neutral. Way. Sometimes I'll just kind of give myself just a starting point. I always end up doing things kind of purpley sometimes, but I'm gonna see what I can do. With just the random colors that I'm selecting. I'm not really sure where to take the colors from, but I do want to. It's been snowing lately, so I thought maybe something kind of snowy. I don't want to paint exactly what's out my window. Sometimes if I don't know what to do, I kind of look out the window and start painting the trees that I see out there. And it is kind of interesting. Like that there's some texture in the brushes I'm using currently. Now I kind of have to figure out what I'm doing. Usually I let that, just whatever seems right in the moment, guide my decision. Even though it doesn't always go the right way. And this is kind of a relaxing way to create things. I'm not really worried about what's happening. Well, obviously, I would like something to look nice, but you can't control what happens. Kind of just have to make something. Not really liking this purple color, so I want it kind of more blue. Kind of like a rock formation or a building right here. You kind of want to, thinking something snowy might be nice. Do want like a section of sky that we can see. Just a little bit poking through. Some light coming in the middle here. I'm gonna make this kind of bolder thing here my focal point. It's still very abstract at this point. So it could really be anything. This could be a mountain, or it could be just a mountain, a boulder, a building. I always like to paint ruins here and there. This is kind of the lighting that is outside of my window right now, and I think I might keep it in this kind of muted color. Starting to get a little darker out, but it's overcast. So I don't really want green per se. So I kind of want to add in almost like trees that don't have their leaves currently. Evergreens, well, obviously they're evergreen. They'll always be green. I'm just going to put some trees over here. See what I do with this rock. Kind of maybe define some edges of it. All kind of one mono ambient light. Kind of what I've established right now. Not really any shadows or anything, just whatever the base value is of the thing, so it's not going to be a super colorful painting. I like to add in color over time and make things more vibrant, because I can get distracted from the main shapes that I'm painting in. With that. I have no idea how well this is gonna go, but it's just kind of how it is. Obviously, it would be nice to have a nice painting if this is going to be in a video. But that might make me have to paint a couple more. At least get some variety. But I can't expect it to be good. I'm just kind of trying stuff. Obviously, snow is going to be brighter than everything else. Darken some of these areas. Take a sip of coffee. Again, I just warmed up my coffee. Don't want it to get cold. Now I'm back. Probably edit some stuff out. Wanted to make something didn't require much thought. Make it more of a relaxing process. I want to put some. Are we looking up on this, or is there kind of a slanted top area that works its way up? I think maybe this will be or have a little bit of both of that. Give some shape variety. My opacity's turned way down. That makes a lot more sense. I am not getting those bright colors. Try and find where there's that ambient occlusion. Basically where the light can't get to, no matter what. I'm just kind of letting some other randomness take control. Can I have these purpley rocks? The randomness come in and then go back and form that into something else. Kind of imaginative shapes. Landscape painting is definitely the easiest way to do this. You can be like, oh, I'll just change the shape of this rock a little bit. Can't really do that too much with a face. Something I learned about snow is it kind of has to have its own volume to it. It can't just be, oh, there's just kind of white here. There has to be some form to it as well. Kind of blending in with the sky a bit, So what I mean by form, it has some sort of volume to it. It's tricky to do with snow. Just realized I'm painting on the base layer. I didn't make a new layer. But something I want to try, let me pull this up, is add a stroke to this new layer. And dark like this. That basically outlines whatever color you paint in. Want the opacity at 100%. So, try and paint. Maybe an inner shadow, is that what I want? See if that does anything. Just merge that down and go from there. Got me a little bit of something started there. But I like having some brushes with a little bit of texture in them. It just keeps things from looking flat. I think that's the right word I was looking for. So the snow is gonna kind of give it a round. I want to add some more color into this rock that's not just purple. You don't find purple rocks that often. Well, I guess it depends on the lighting. And I guess there's not really much shadow. Ambient lighting. But there is still something thicker on top of these rocks. Sometimes the snow is stuck on the side like a splatter, depending on how the wind is. Let me go back in these trees. Ambient lighting does kind of kill depth though. So it can be tricky to paint. snow build up on here. Alright, I'm zooming in too much. Need to zoom out. One problem that happens if you zoom in is you end up focusing too much on one spot, and then all of a sudden it just looks kind of uncohesive. Everything's not there. So you're gonna have to jump around. Usually the best way to do it. Now here's the tricky part. I'm having a hard time painting snow in front of snow. So I'm going to try and use these rocks as a way to have some overlap. To put a little bit of orange back in here. Get a little variety in color. More colors isn't necessarily better, but maybe like a little fluctuations in the colors. They will work pretty well. Something I will do on a separate layer. It's kind of this almost like random dot brush, which I really like. Then I go to filter and blur, motion blur. Just kind of pull it. So that doesn't really look like much. And I'll do another layer. And I will go to filter, Gaussian blur, just a little bit. Merge those together, and then we kind of have a snowy look. It's kind of a detail that you kind of have to put in, take out and put back in. It makes it hard to paint some areas. Something not liking this section right here. Not really sure how long I plan on doing this, but I'm going to try and do as much as I can. There's still some plants that have some leaves on them. as I look out the window. I'm kind of letting the weather guide me on what to paint. And sometimes I will avoid certain things if I've been painting a lot of that one thing, because I like to put variety in. I'm just going to go back through and paint this over. Maybe put a little bit of rock right here. One benefit of living out in the woods, you can get some ideas just from nature. Nature is the best reference you can get. This has to be a face of the rock right here. Otherwise, it's going to, the lighting's not going to make sense anymore. Unless it's casting a shadow right here. But in ambient lighting, the shadow is going to be like a little circle. Say you have like a shape right here, the shadow is going to look something like that. Not very much. And again, I don't like this rock, so I'm just going to paint over it. I want this to fit kind of the woodsy feel as well. Definitely making this rock the focal point. Put that snow back on. I think I need just a little bit more. You know what I can do is I'm gonna make it the image a bit bigger. Going to scale. I don't expect this video to do well, and maybe algorithm will hate me for it, but you can't let stuff like that determine how you're going to make something. And I really shouldn't care about that because I have such a small audience. Obviously, people signed up to watch me for some sort of reason. Using a more detailed brush right now. Give me some of those nicer lines. Want to do some sort of branch right here. I want a new layer. Some more snow in here. I'm going to leave them on those hard shapes there. Any other brushes in my toolkit? Add back in. Trying to make this last as long as I can. And I have to edit down a little bit because I don't want them to be long videos. But I mean, if people want a full length video, me just painting and talking, that's alright too. I might, you know what, I might even just try it. Yeah, I might try that. maybe a little bit to cut out some noise. Sometimes it's very therapeutic just to start creating something without thinking about it too much. A little bit more, some weeds. They're still showing up. Kind of a dark orange. But I still see around here. Let me do some color adjustments. Just a little bit darker. A little bit more contrast. To make any difference with where these layers are. Not really, so I'm just going to merge that down. Kind of gives it more of a dramatic look to it. Adding snow into paintings is really a cool way to add some variety. I don't know if adding this branch is a good idea or not, but I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I think it does kind of make it too busy over here. tree down in the corner here. No, I'm gonna leave that. Maybe like a burl or something there. Alright, I think that is going to do it for now. So it was really interesting to kind of just make random marks and make it bigger. Take inspiration from things around you. And that's kind of what I have to say. So the things that I thought about or learned today was like, take inspiration from outside your surroundings. Take inspiration from the weather. This rock was something that I didn't see, but I kind of made up. And then I had painted in some trees and some snow. Alright, I guess I'm signing with this. Okay. Alright. Till next time, Dadagon out.